Ilya at ComeBack Mobility.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, TJ. My name is Ilya. I'm the founder and CEO of ComeBack Mobility. Implants and surgical techniques matter a lot, but after surgery, nobody controls what patients actually do at home. And that is where outcomes are still won or lost. And ComeBack Mobility turns prescribed weight bearing into guided, measured recovery. After exiting my previous startup, I became a fighter, got injured, and spent 6 months in rehabilitation and discovered a major gap in a post-op care. Orthopedic surgeons prescribe partial weight bearing, but they don't know what patients do at home because there is no objective way to measure it. So even when a fixation could tolerate early loading, surgeons often restrict weight bearing for 6 weeks or more. Not because it's optimal, but because it's the only way to comply. Each year, 3.5 million Americans break a lower limb. Too much load can break fixation. Too little load can delay healing, lead to non-union and reoperation. That is why post-operative complications drive nearly 55 billion in annual loss. And many risk factors like biology and comorbidities cannot be controlled. But weight bearing and walking activity could be objectively measured and adjusted after surgery. And that's how we turn prescribed weight bearing into guided measured recovery. First, a surgeon defines a safe weight bearing range. In complex fractures, we used post-op CT-based finite element analysis to calculate what load can expedite bone callus formation without compromising fixation. Second, our app and Smart Crutch tips guide and measure every step in real time. Third, our AI checks compliance and reaches patients automatically. Only unresolved cases go to a physical therapist. Let's see how the product works.
The doctor prescribes a weight-bearing program per patient's needs. No load, partial load, and increasing load. The patient receives a link to the program and opens it up in the patient app. Following instructions, the patient installs the Smart Crutch tips and syncs them to the app via Bluetooth. After pairing the devices, the specific weight-bearing program is activated. Now it is in the patient's phone and in the Smart Crutch tips. Step softer. Step harder. There is no feedback when the patient is walking correctly.
This is not a prototype. This is a FDA-cleared market-ready medical device, Class 2 510(k) exempt, ISO manufactured, peer-reviewed, patented, and already helped more than 300 patients to recover faster. Dr. Igor has no royalties, no equity, no financial relationship with us. Let's hear what he said at AOS.
I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I prescribe people weight-bearing restrictions. And they ask me, how do you do that? And I often tell them, I don't know. Usually what we do is say, well, go step on a bathroom scale, and you can kind of figure out how much 30 pounds is or 40 pounds is. And remember that feeling and see how you do. We did an IRB-approved prospective trial. They were randomized to either receiving real-time feedback or not. In other words, the device would give them the feedback as to how they were doing on their weight bearing. What we found, anyway, was that patients receiving the real-time feedback had a 3 times greater adherence to the weight-bearing protocol that we prescribed. Even my older patients were very, very interested in the technology of this. They thought it was really cool, and they felt that, they were taking part in their own care by doing this. Excellent usability scores. They felt that it was very easy to use. High patient satisfaction rating, 9.6 out of 10. And there were no safety issues with the use of the device. Precise adherence, prescribing accelerated bone healing, and risk reduction in hardware failure. In conclusion, I feel that these crutch tips are not only effective, but they're safe, they're usable, and I think they can help us in our clinical practice with patients to have a very standardized approach to the way we prescribe weight bearing after fracture surgery.
We don't have to wait 2 years to generate more evidence. Through our clinical research organization in Ukraine, we are already running 3 randomized clinical trials across 16 hospitals and 31 surgeons. That gives us a fast, cost-efficient engine for adoption and reimbursement data. In tibial shaft fracture managed with our FAA-guided protocol, patients reach full weight bearing by week 6 with radiographic healing by week 12. A comparable patients managed with weight bearing accelerated reach full weight bearing by week 10 and radiographic healing by week 24. I know this is early, but it is exactly what our multicentral trials are designed to validate. At AOS, we confirmed real demand from surgeons and implant companies. Because resources are limited, we are focused on 1 hospital pilot, 1 active bundle pilot, and 1 strategic partnership pilot pathway. Beyond that, we already have 20 letters of intent, engagement with more than 30 hospitals, and early interest from major strategics. The business model is simple. Hospitals get extra RTM revenue and lower post-discharge risks. Private clinics get their money back in 5 patients and can make X3 over 2 years from each device. Implant partners can bundle or sponsor rental to improve outcomes and add value. Across all 3 channels, we have the same pricing: $3,500 for per choice, $100 per week for rent, and with just $350 cost to produce it. With existing RTM reimbursement, private clinics can earn about $266 in RTM revenue per patient on top of rental revenue. Hospitals can bill through the same workflow above the Medicare baseline. And the workflow is handled by PTs or care coordinators. Our platform can work across trauma, sports medicine, arthroplasty, and limb reconstruction. This is not one-time implant revenue. It creates recurring revenue through rentals, RTM, and partner channels. And it fits to the existing ecosystem without asking surgeons to change how they operate. We start with a focused market. Early adoption comes from innovator surgeons and out-of-pocket patients. As we generate clinical evidence, reimbursement unlocks first for the high-risk cases and expands by indication, opening a much larger market. This is how we create strategic value over the next 3 years. We build clinical proof through publication, multicentral data, and early deployments. We unlock reimbursement, which makes adoption repeatable, and we scale through hospital integrations and implant partner bundles. This is the path to strategic partnership and a potential exit. I built this company through product, regulatory, clinical trials, and manufacturing execution. Mike brings orthopedic go-to-market and scaling experience. Wydaglet brings world-class mechanobiology and bone healing expertise. That is the team scaling this category. Early adoption is PI and evidence-driven, concentrated at level 1 trauma. We are already there. The next inflection point is the NYU Langone publication. I have raised $3 million so far and now raising 1.6. This gives me 18 months to finish trials, launch paid RTM reimbursement, advance the new DME and HCPCS pathway, and deploy it in more than 3 hospital systems in the US.